now it for sure still brings emotion. Like, I definitely feel that I probably hear the national anthem maybe different than a lot of normal human beings, normal Americans, I guess I should say. It's a special song for me, and I always enjoy it every time, if I go to a hockey game or whatever. I for sure stand there with pride and knowing that I stood on that top podium for my country, and how cool is that?
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Milan Magic. I'm Brian Boitano here with my partner in Shine, Christine Brennan, USA Today sports journalist. I really want to talk about speed skating.
The U.S. is so great in speed skating, has been a great tradition, and of course that continues on here in Milan.
Yeah.
So
I wish we had someone good to talk to about that.
Yeah.
What? Well, it is magic. Okay, ready? It worked.
It worked. Bonnie
Here I
Blair.
am.
Bonnie
And do you
Blair.
know what a snap is?
Snap. No.
It's like 2/100ths of a second. So it's probably about that far, takes that long, and I won 2 gold medals by 2/100ths of a second.
Oh my
So is that
gosh.
crazy or what?
That is crazy.
Well, I think it's a
Crazy.
good thing that that's how we introduced you then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Now you did win other gold medals by more than that.
Lots of them.
And that's why she's here, because I mean, certainly the greatest female speed skater in American history, and we could even say maybe the world.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
I'm going to say that.
Thank
This
you.
is our podcast. We can say that.
You can say what
But
you
it
want.
also has the added benefit of being true, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
But seriously, Bonnie Blair, 5 gold medals, 1 silver medal,
One bronze.
1 bronze. Sorry, I gave you.
I'll take it though if you want to give
Wait,
it
do
to
you
me.
have your
Should've
gold
been.
medal in your pocket? She
I-
carries her gold medal in her pocket
Everywhere?
all the time. Yeah, she does.
Any
Except
burglars
I
out
don't
there, pay
have
no
it right
attention
now,
to this.
sorry.
Oh, burglars. No, because we don't want them to steal it.
no,
I mean,
I
after
know,
all these
I know,
years,
I know.
88, 92, 94, just as dominant an athlete as the United States has had in any Winter Olympic sport ever. And 88, you happened to share with this guy, didn't you?
And we kind of forgot we were the only 2 gold medals at that Olympic Games. Like, how crazy
US.
is that?
2
For
gold
the
medals.
U.S. Yeah,
Yeah.
for the
Gold
U.S.
medals.
Ron
Yeah.
Boitano figure
Yeah.
skating, Bonnie
Yeah.
Blair, and that was the 500 meters
Correct.
in speed skating.
Yep.
And of course, all these years later, we're talking speed skating again.
And we're here together.
I know.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
And
know.
we're both B squared.
That is true.
Yep.
We're both B squared.
We have so much in common, guys.
Yeah.
It's like so
You know,
much.
so far this
He's
is
older
a
though.
riveting podcast for everybody to be listening to. So we're actually going to get into other than our initials. But well, let's talk about now. What do you think of this American team? This is, as we said, this is an excellent U.S. speed skating team.
Yeah, we've got a great team. We've already seen Jordan Stolz win gold for us. He's off to a start. Probably nice to get that one under his belt. And I think he can probably really then let it loose for the next few races, which he really can. He can really come away from these Olympic Games with 3 more medals. So we'll see what happens there. We've got Aaron Jackson coming up in the 500, defending Olympic champion, although there's a Dutch girl that's been winning virtually every World Cup this season by like a half a second. So she's got her work cut out for her, but she's always kept herself in the mix all season long. So never say never, for sure. Our men's team pursuit team, world record holders, they're the ones to beat coming into the game. So they're going to be really tough. They're going to be tough on the ice. And the ice has been fast.
Oh, that's good.
It's a temporary facility. So they're not used to skating on it. And even I think the ice meisters, they're not as used to dealing with a ice surface that just comes in, they put it on and they get it going. So Olympic records in every race so far.
Wow, that's
it's been
amazing.
super cool. Yeah.
So Jordan Stolz won the 1,000 by half a second, right? How that's like
it's kind of a long ways.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask you that.
Yeah,
That's what I was
that's
gonna say.
kind
Is
of a
that
long
lot?
ways.
Okay.
Yeah. And the guy that he was paired with is the one that got second. So you can see how the difference it was. But like even yesterday in the women's 3,000, first to fourth was 0.3.
Wow.
I mean, first to fourth was 0.3. That
Wow.
was that was crazy. That was a crazy close race for those girls. Sorry, 5,000 meters. My days are running together. How many days have we been here
Yeah,
already?
yeah.
Oh, good God.
No.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think, that is important for people. You go at such a pace. And we love it. I mean, we're so lucky to be here. So fortunate.
Yeah.
It's so great to be with
So much
you
fun.
guys. I mean, I'm a
Sandwich.
gold medal sandwich right now. Absolutely. But it does. The pace gets going, and it's like is this Friday? Is whatever day
Right.
it is, and that happens in an Olympics as we just go for these 16 days. But you're back. How many Olympics have you been able to come back to after your last one in Lillehammer?
Yeah, so my first one I competed in was 84, and the only one I've missed was COVID.
4 years ago in Beijing.
I've been pretty lucky that I've been able to be at all the games. There's nothing, I mean, it just puts a smile on my face. No place I'd rather be. I don't like watching it from my couch. I like being in the mix of it. We're here, there's like banners on buildings. It just, the whole atmosphere of the Olympic Games is really just a magic moment for everybody.
And you're a cheerer. I know your family's always been like
My
there.
voice, listen to me.
flags
I
and
like can hardly,
banners. Yeah.
cowbells. We're not really supposed to have the cowbells in the facilities, but I have seen my way to sneak them in.
How do you? They don't. No one's going to listen to this, and from the officials, and
Well,
they're
they
Italian.
don't. They
How do-
might
how
bring
do
them
they-
inside, and
Right.
nobody
So
takes
how do you-
it away from
so
me.
what-
I think
what's your
it's only
secret?
the scanners.
How do they? How do you sneak them in?
You put Kleenex on the inside so the bell doesn't ring, and then you wrap it with Kleenex, and then they just think you're bringing Kleenex in. Well,
They're
some
gonna
of the
kick Bonnie
toilets
Blair
haven't
out
had
of the
toilet
competition.
paper either, so you just figure out how to work the system.
So it's actually kind of dual purpose.
Yes.
Sneak it in, and then you
Yeah,
also have
and then
toilet
you have
paper.
toilet paper. And Hillary Knight's mom was like, "How'd you get your cowbell in here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got a story for you."
I can't wait to see security escorting you out. So, Miss Blair, here's some handcuffs.
Then it's gonna be on TV, right?
Yeah, you're gonna be back on the
God.
show.
No, it's a podcast, and it's the officials. They're not listening to this. They're too busy trying to catch people bringing things into the arena.
That they really shouldn't be bringing.
Right,
in.
exactly.
Yes.
Well, it would be. Let us know, because actually, for me, that would be a news story if Bonnie Blair is arrested at the speed skating
I'll keep you.
venue.
You'll be the first one. Can you be my one phone call?
Yeah, well, absolutely, as long as I can break the story. So Bonnie, let's go. Shall we go back in time, because we
Yes,
love to relive
sure.
it, and so many of the people, and we thank everyone for watching and listening to Milan Magic. Of course, on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I mean, the numbers are extraordinary for this, and we thank you. We thank you so much. Let's go back to '88. So it's Calgary.
Yeah.
I was covering you then. I was covering this guy too. Writing stories at that
We
point. I
haven't
was-
aged though at
No,
all,
no,
right?
we haven't at all. Yeah, we're gonna keel over here in a second. But I was at the Washington Post then, and you both were just huge deals. Battle of the Bryans, but you with the pressure, and you did win the one gold. What are your memories from Calgary back in '88?
Yeah, I mean, that was really the closest we had to home. I was lucky enough to be at 4 different Winter Olympic Games, but, we had spent a ton of time in Calgary, so it really was like home for us. But yeah, I mean, my biggest rivalry, Krista Rothenberger from what was East Germany back then, had set a world record 2 pairs before me. So not only in order to win the gold medal, I have to go faster than I've ever gone and set a world record. But I had skated a timed lap earlier in the week that was good enough to do that. So I thought, God, if I could just do that, I can win this thing. And typically Krista was always down the 100 faster than I was, and I beat her by 2/100ths of a second. I can hear the announcer, so I knew what my split time was before I got to the backstretch and saw my coach. And so I'm like, if I can just have a good lap, I've got it. And I wound up winning that race by the same 2/100ths that I beat her down the 100.
What's
the
the reaction? What's the emotion of that at that moment? Do you remember?
Definitely thrilling excitement. I think, now it for sure still brings emotion. I definitely feel that I probably hear the national anthem may be different than a lot of normal human beings, normal Americans, I guess I should say. It's a special song for me, and I always enjoy it every time. If I go to a hockey game or whatever, I for sure stand there with pride and knowing that I stood on that top podium for my country, and how cool is that? So yeah.
It's interesting because watching Bonnie get emotional, I get the same way nowadays. Like when we can actually pop back to that moment and be standing there in our brains. Like we can feel exactly what it was like in that moment, and it really does bring on this deep emotion because as you get older, and I don't want to speak for you, but I know you pretty well, you just like, you're like, wow, I did that, and that's an experience that I went through. I mean, are you in agreement with that, or?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I can see my family members in the crowd, and like, my sister Angela, she's crying, and that's not where their seats were. They found a way to weave in and out of there. The Blair bunch, that's what they do.
The
and
Blairs.
then, my sister Susie, just a huge grin on her face. I saw my brother Rob high-fiving his best friend. My mom still looks scared to death as if I was still racing. My sister Mary, you think I'm loud. She's way louder than I am, yelling, screaming, going absolutely nuts. I always had like a rule for her that I didn't want to hear her voice before the gun went off. Afterwards, she can yell as much as she wants. But, like seeing my family members and then in different areas, kind of right front and center, and all those different emotions. Is that not exactly what it's like?
Right near her family for that race.
Oh,
So I was
God.
like, can you guys keep it down?
Yeah,
back
God
there?
help you. Yeah. Did you bring earplugs?
I did not. I did not.
Next time.
We need a still photo of you with the Blairs.
We're the
going
Blair
like
bunch.
this.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll apologize right now.
So let's move ahead. So now it's 92. You are Bonnie Blair, Olympic gold medalist. There's even more. It's Albertville, of course, the French Alps, just a couple 100 miles from where we are right now. What was that like, the pressure, and how different was that in 92 versus going into 88?
Yeah, I think coming into 92, I was pretty confident in my skating and in my thoughts, and knowing that if the races go well, I could come out of there with 2 more gold medals. But 92, that was the last time we were outside. Yeah. And when you're outside, the elements and the first pair to the last pair, that can change. First pair to second pair can change. So
you're talking about the ice, the consistency of the ice, right?
The ice, the wind, that was something that affected my good buddy Dan Jansen. So, I know those elements come into it, but you've got no control over that, right? So I can only control what I can control. And I wound up coming out there with 2 more gold medals and hearing the national anthem again. This time was a little different because my family was on the back stretch and they present the medals on the home stretch. And all I wanted to do was keep turning around and going like this to them on the backside. And the only people's faces that I could relate to was Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith. They were the only ones I recognized. And I'm like, okay, but this really wasn't who I wanted to share this moment with. And Anita DeFrance presented me my medal. That was super cool. But then for my second medal, I think I kind of made it known, like, could you get my family over here? So then they brought them over to the front stretch, and then I got to see them. So super cool moment.
Did you have any meets against, was that against Kristen Roethlisberger as well? Was she against you in those races?
So yeah, she, okay. So then that was after the wall came down. So then they were just Germany. But Krista, I believe at that point, after 88, had a child and then came back and wasn't quite as strong at those Olympic Games. But, one thing we kind of chatted about before we came on air was Chinese girl Yi Chao Bo had gotten second to me in the 1,000, and she had tested positive before the 88 games, so had set out, but then, was able then to come back in. Yeah. And, is that really fair? Like, you've got something in your body that I've never had, And I guess to me, like, you test positive for something, you should be done, and that's it. But I don't make the rules.
Well,
so.
and we were talking about it off camera before we started because I covered that issue. I was obviously in Albertville. I remember it was that concern about not slushy ice, but the changing
it was
conditions.
soft. It was conditions.
Yeah, I mean, because Albertville itself was actually warm weather, kind of like where we are now, and it's outdoors. So that, and Dan Jansen, as you said, who of course fallen in '88. I mean, the whole Dan Jansen story for anyone who hasn't remembered. Look it up. Yeah, I mean, but then of course triumphing
storybook
in
ending, though. Yeah,
right. And along that line, before we get back to our Chinese doper. When Jansen won that gold in Lillehammer, you were on the ice, the practice ice. I'm in the arena, and what I remember most about hearing, they announced it that Dan Jansen had won the gold.
They did.
And Brian is skating. I'm in the press section just watching the practice, and you start applauding on the ice.
I was like fist pumping because it was unusual.
They never announced things during
anything.
They're playing the music.
And we're in the warm up before they played the program music, and I was on that session, and I was in rotation for my program, and they said we'd like to tell you the results of the speed skating competition today. Dan Jansen with the gold medal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm watching you do that, and I probably, there was no Twitter back then. I would have definitely taken a picture and tweeted it out, but I didn't. But that's my memory of that moment because of you. Going back to the Chinese woman who had tested positive, I remember you saying that, and I thought it was fantastic. And it's such an important point, even now with doping, which of course people are still doping. Of course they're cheating in all sports. Hopefully not.
Why can we not figure out a way to catch them?
Well, they are catching a lot of them.
But until you can really get in front of all of that, there's going to be speculation. I mean, I can't say I was in drug testing with them, going through the same protocol. It is what it is, but I think they're in front of the testing, and until we can figure that out, those science people can figure all that out.
But that's a great point. The bad chemists are way ahead of the good chemists. And that's why they keep the urine and the blood for all these, I think it's 10 years, because that's how they then reorder the medals. Then sometimes there's a ceremony, of course, in the case of the figure skating team a year and a half ago in Paris in the the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. Beautiful situation. Sometimes,
not the same.
But sometimes, no, not at all.
Not the same.
But how about even worse? You get a FedEx package and you open it up and there's your medal on the kitchen table. And it's
still nice to have. However,
but so you all the way back then, you said, because that's why we were talking about it. You said she has something in her body. There are muscles that were made because of the doping, and that's also China at the time, state-sponsored, of course. You've got that she had something in her body, as you said, that you didn't have, and she still had it in her body, even as she's allowed back. And I'm so glad you made that point, and I refer to that even now as I cover that issue. So thank you for that.
That's like, yes, at some point the drugs go out, but when and I don't know exactly because I don't know, but when you're taking them, obviously you're somehow getting stronger in different ways, right? That I'm not allowed to do that, but is it just because after its half-life it's gone? I don't think that's necessarily the case. So, but I would love at some point for it to everybody just be on the same playing field, and but you know what, even if they I beat them.
You would have beat her by more.
It makes it sweeter, right? At the end of the day, it made the win sweeter.
And that's USA Swimming. I mean, this is this is throughout, and it's China is one of the major culprits, and Russia, of course, gets the Lifetime Achievement Award for doping and cheating. Let's go to '94. Lillehammer.
Are we done yet?
How much time
This
do
is
we
your
have?
last Olympics, so
How
we're
many
almost
times
done.
do we have? Right, yeah.
Thank
Unless
God she
you're
wasn't
going in today.
in Nagano in
Right.
'98.
No, we're done. No, I was pregnant there. I wasn't. Yeah. 94. I said to Brian coming in here, was that the last winter Olympics? Because there was snow. It was cold. It was really a winter Olympics.
It was really winter.
But I think Dan winning. I had been in the event for his 500 meters, and my boyfriend at the time, now husband, Dave Cruikshank, was also in that race. And every time the gun went off, like my pulse is just like I felt like I was racing every single race. So Dan's 1,000 was the day before my 500, and I just knew I couldn't be in the venue because it was too exhausting. I knew I needed to just be back at the Olympic Village, and in our little sports med area, we had a TV where we could watch. So those of us girls that were in the 500 were there. My husband or boyfriend, husband now, was with us, and and we watched Dan Jansen, and we're up and down and yelling and screaming, and I hear the walkie-talkie cackling, and it's the sports med people. Well, they're taking him to drug testing, and I'm like, can I talk to him? You know, like, because I'm like, I want to talk. I knew he wasn't going to come back to the village. His life had just changed. And they put him on the walkie-talkie, and he thought he was going to talk to the President of the United States.
Oh, Bonnie.
No, it was just me. I just wanted to share this moment with you. Oh, my God. It was hilarious. So if you see him, you'll have to ask him about that. But that was a special moment for me because DJ and I have been through so much together. Our families knew each other before we were born. So for us to have gone through all of our Olympics together, the ups, the downs, the good, the bads, if I could have been in two places at once, I would have loved to, but that walkie-talkie moment was very special for me. So, and then let's just wrap it up with me at the Olympics. That first Olympic podium being on the top, my last one was standing there knowing that it was all over. And now it comes back to hearing that national anthem. And I'll probably never hear it the exact way it was played right then and there. Because I knew I wasn't going to go to another Olympics. I was 4 years away. But yeah, it was in my wildest dreams. I never, at first it was just like it'd be cool to be an Olympian. And never in my wildest dreams did I ever envision doing and accomplishing what I did. So, great moments, and we got VCRs. We can go watch those again, right? Because aren't those on VCR tapes?
They are, but some of us transfer it to digital.
I know we got it.
There's this thing called YouTube. I don't know if you've heard about it.
YouTube. Yeah,
I think they're probably there. Let's everyone
YouTube.
Google Bonnie Blair.
There we go.
And I think you'll see 1,000.
Or
races.
Brian and I might have a couple of VHS tapes too.
We might have a couple.
I do too. I have a lot as well. Yeah. So here you are.
Is that a wrap? Are we done yet?
No. Well, almost.
No, I wanted to ask you a more lighthearted question. Did you have any special things that you did, or so I read that Jordan Stolz kept his blades from the 1,000, the last year or 2 years ago, 1,000-meter blades, so he could use them here. I don't know if that's true or not. But did you have anything like that was like super superstitious? Or something like that?
Well, I kept my skates that I wanted, and we don't like change them that often. So, I have 3 skates that I have. But no, I think for me, it was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
See, that's a thing, right?
And
you ate that before every race.
And a big old glass of milk. And they're saying a big old glass of milk probably and peanut butter aren't the ideal things to race on. So could I have been faster? Maybe.
That's funny.
But you got to do what's right, what'll settle in your system or whatever, right? And, back then, peanut butters in Europe weren't as universal. So I traveled with my own jar of Skippy Super Chunk.
I love it.
And I do see regular smooth Skippy here, but I like the Super Chunk. I've still brought my own.
Well, this is a girl who was looking for oat milk today and Doritos on Super Bowl Sunday here.
Family tradition.
And she found them. She found them.
You know, I mean, I don't think we even have to say this after people have listened and watched this podcast, but you can see how absolutely fabulous Bonnie Blair is, how much fun it was to cover you. I mean, really, I covered most of your races in 88.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, 92 and 94. Just a legend, obviously terrific role model, daughter of the Midwest. Well, I know you were not born in the Midwest, but moved very young age to Illinois. I went to Northwestern. You, of course, were in Champaign. But of course, speed skating is so centered Milwaukee and
Not now, they're like Florida. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
well,
coming from all
right.
over.
But back in the day, for sure.
inlining has definitely helped our sport. But Jordan Stolz is
Yeah.
from Wisconsin, so that
Yeah.
kind of helps keep that Midwest, part alive.
Well,
and
it's- you're-
maybe my daughter for the next Olympics. Let's talk again, and maybe I'll be a mom at the game.
Ooh, that would be
Okay.
fun.
How about that?
Well, it'll be the French Alps, so we'll be back right at Albertville.
That'd
and
be pretty cool.
and it won't be Milan Magic, but
Yeah.
it might have to be,
So-
Something magic.
So would that be like?
Frenchman.
Yeah, would that be like Keith Kachuk and the Kachuk brothers, and then
Right.
there's Bonnie Blair and Blair Cruikshank, not
Right.
Blair,
yeah.
not
No.
Blair.
Well, and I mean, Ilya Malinin with his mom.
Yeah.
Two-time
Yeah.
Olympian,
Oh,
and
yeah.
his dad, two-time Olympian.
Yeah.
Well, that will be another episode
It will be another. Hey,
of Milan Magic / whatever we're going to call the one in 20.
and maybe that time we can get Bonnie Blair to open up a little bit and like be able to
Yeah,
have
I
a
know.
good
I'm
conversation.
So shy. I'm
Yeah,
so-
Bonnie, thank you. I'll let Brian take us out, but thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you, my friend, my legend. That's a wrap from Milan Magic.